Hello everybody, in continuation of my previous lecture, tip 1. So, where I had discussed something which was related with the inner classes and memory management in the programming languages. So today, I will be discussing how we generally implement the inner classes concept which we had discussed in this lecture by using different languages. So I have three programs over here. One program is written in C++, another which is written in Java, and third one which is written in Python. So all these programs I will be running only by using single IDE, that is Eclipse, which I have configured to run these three programs. So here let's see this program, which is basically a concept for running inner classes in C++. So here, as usual, my first practice is to include IO stream header file. So here, and next is to give a namespace so that conflict can be avoided. So this is my outer class car, which is having a public variable of type integer wheels, and it is scope public, and this public is declared in C++ by using this operator, colon operator. So here inside this outer class car, we are having one inner class, that is engine, which is having one method which is of type public. It is which is having a public access specifier, which is of return type void, and it is having a reference of type car. So this method, inner method, is pointing to the car object, and with the help of this pointer, we are accessing here wheels. So this is the arrow operator, which generally we use if we are using any pointer variable, or else we would have used dot operator. So if we are using pointer, then we must use this arrow operator. If we are not using pointer, then we could have used a dot operator. So here this was the outer class, this is the inner class, where we are having one method, and this method is trying to access this variable which is of type public inside this method, and this is the body of main, where I have created this car object. So here we are having new. In C++, there are two different keywords, new and delete. So like in C, we are having malloc and calloc for memory allocation. Here we are having new and delete for dynamic memory allocations. So since we are using pointer type variable, so for creating this type of object, we are using new over here to create the object dynamically while running the program. So here, this car object is created, and now with the help of new, and now we are trying to access this wheel which is inside this car. Since car is a pointer, so we are referring these wheels by help of reference operator, and this reference is pointed by a pointer, and that is of type integer. This wheel is of type integer, which is inside the car. So finally, with this help of object, we are pointing a value 50, that is number of wheels. Here I am assuming that is 50 with this help of pointer. So again we are creating another object, that is the engine, with the help of outer object. So outer, it is a scope resolution operator, this car, this car and this engine, they are both the inner, this is the inner class and this is the outer class. Since this inner class is defined inside this outer class, so we are using this scope resolution operator. And finally, with the help of object, we are trying to access this display wheels method by passing this object over here. So since these two methods are public, because of that we are able to access this over here. So let's run it. Sorry, Control B. So okay, let's first clean this program. This program is cleaned. Now it's saying that is having some problem. Let me check. So it is basically Control B. Okay, it is building now by using the keyword key Control B. So okay, it is finished with 0 errors and 0 warning. Now Control F11 for running the program. So it is pointing here, printing here value 50. So this value 50 is printed over here, and which is inside this display wheels method. Similarly, you can try to run this program by defining this method as private and this variable as private. So you try it at your end how this program behaves. The same way, this is the Java program where I try to write the same program. This is the class, and this is my inner class engine. This is having one variable, and this is having another variable, and we are having another class, that is chassis, which is having one method, deploy chassis. So here inside this class, we are calling this as anonymous inner class, because so my car is having built on a default chassis. So there is a default chassis. In the company initially we don't know which chassis is going to be deployed by which car, on which car. So where there are some classes, initially we do not know where exactly those classes are going to be used. So some of those classes where we are not sure where exactly they will be used, they can be declared as the anonymous inner classes and can be used inside a class. So here this class I am using as a chassis as an anonymous inner class, and the body of this class can be redeclared based on the usage. So here we are defining one. This class is already defined here. Again we are redefining the body of this inner class, anonymous inner class over here, and we are calling this anonymous inner class with the object of this, the method of this over here, and the outer class, my car, object is created over here by the reference of my outer, and similarly the engine, the inner class, is created with the help of outer class, and finally we are trying to print the value which is over here. So let's try to run this also. So here see, instead of printing this default chassis of vehicles, it is printing the redefined anonymous inner class value over here, and finally the value of these two classes, outer classes and inner classes, gets printed over here. Similarly in Java, Similarly, what we can do is we can access it with the help of static classes also. So this one we can use. So there is a concept of static inner class also. So for this static inner class, so here for running this static inner class, so here what we have done is we have made this inner class as static, and since this has been declared as static, so without creating the object of this engine, we can access the variable declared inside this class. So here we are not creating the object of engine. Basically, we have created the object of the outer class, and with the help of this outer class, we are trying to access this engine, this inner class, and finally we have got the reference of this inner class with the help of the outer object, and we had been able to access the variable declared inside the inner class with the help of this. The same way, the program written in Python can also be checked. So here we are having the same as outer class car and one inner class engine. So here we have defined three different kind of classes, where we have a single level inner class, multi-level inner class, and multiple level inner class. So here inside the single level inner class, we are having one outer class, and inside that one inner class, and inside the outer class we are having one method, deploy engine, and inside the inner class we are having one method. So outer and inner each are having one method each, and in the case of multiple inner classes, we are having one outer class with one method, and this is the constructor which is calling two different inner classes which is defined inside this outer class. So inside this outer class we are having two inner classes. So one outer class is having multiple inner class. Similarly, this is the example of multi-level inner class, where we are having one outer class which is having basically one inner class, and inside the inner class there is another inner class. So this is a multi-level inner class where one inner class is having more than one inner classes. So let's see the first one. Here we are having one outer class, method in one outer class, and another method inside the inner class. So what we have done is we have created the object of outer class, and by the help of this outer class we are creating the method inside the outer class. Similarly, by getting the reference of this engine, we are creating the method of the inner. So with the help of the outer class, we are creating the method declared inside the inner class. Here also, with the help of, we have created the outer class again, and with the help of outer class, we are trying to access the inner class, and by reference of this inner class, we are trying to access the method which is declared inside the inner class. So here either we can access the method declared inside the inner class by the help of either outer class reference or by the inner class reference. Similarly, if we are having multiple level inner classes, so here this is the constructor where we have declared the reference. So constructor gets the reference of the inner class and another inner class, and here we are printing the object which is created by the outer class, which is defined inside the outer class. So this will print the object as value of the object, and this show classes tells that there are two different classes objects have been created, and it is printing the value this. So here this is the inner class. Inside the inner class there is a method which is defined, Here we have created the object of the outer object, and with this help of outer object we are trying to create the object of inner class, and with the help of uh, this outer object again we are trying to access the another inner class which is defined inside the outer. So with the help of outer we are trying to access the two inner classes which is defined. So this is the concept of multiple inner class, where inside one outer class we are having two different inner classes. So these two different inner classes are accessed with the help of the single outer class. So here the show classes method, which is basically defined inside the outer class, can be accessed with the help of this outer class. Similarly, the method declared in the two inner classes are printed over here and accessed by this inner object. So these two methods which are declared inside the two different inner classes are accessed over here. So this is all which was the example of the inner classes. Similarly, we have the multi-level inner class. So here inside the multi-level inner class again we are having one outer class. So inside the outer class we have created one constructor of this one, where there is reference of one inner class and the inner of inner class. So this show class method which is defined inside the outer class, it has one print method and another print method which is the object of this inner class. Inside this inner class we are again having two different one method which is show classes as over here inside the outer class with one constructor. So this inner class is again having one constructor which is pointing to the inner of inner. So this is the inner of inner. So finally this is the class which is defined inside this, not declared, which is defined inside this inner class with this inner display method. So and this is having the scope inside this inner class, and this inner display is within the scope of this inner class, because see, it is having the definition which is in line with this one, and this is having definition which is in line with this one. So this is having tab space difference. So here if you try to run, let's try to run this program for better understanding. So let's try to run this one. So while running this program we can see what happens. See, this is calling inner class method from outer class. So here inside this first one, so if you see what is happening, calling inner class method from this outer class, this first print out statement. Another is calling the inner method directly. So this is one is okay. This one it gets printed, and finally instantiation method message of inner class just printed. So this gets printed. Okay. So this is what it gets printed. So here I am printing directly. Because why directly? Because with the help of this inner class I am directly accessing the method of this inner, and here directly with the help of outer I am directly accessing this one deploy engine method, and here this inner engine method which is called by this inner class. So here what happens, see, this inner engine, this is a method which is inside this inner class, and it basically prints the message. So message is here, whatever the argument which is passed as a parameter inside this constructor. So this argument it takes as a variable message. Again here see what happens, it prints, since the show classes method gets called, so it prints this statement, this is outer class, and the hash value of these two objects. Again it prints this inner class for this first inner class, and just print it in first inner class. This is another inner class, so this is printing the multiple inner classes. And this third print statement which is for multi-level inner classes. So hope that you will understand this concept while learning this program in more detail. Hope that you all have understood this program successfully. Have a good day. Take care. Thank you.